Alright guys, today we're going to be checking out the Math Problem Killer. It's $20 on Steam. As always, I'll leave a link to the game in the description. Apparently there's a killer guy, he gives you math problems and you can save hostages. Sadly, I'm not that good at math, so these hostages are screwed. I figure. But yeah, I'm going to do the best I can. The first week, the hunt begins. It's supposed to be disturbing, so that's your
Special
warning.
Agent, thank you for coming in. Please, have a seat. I am Senior Special Agent in Charge, Benjamin Anderson. I am the head of the Serial Killer Task Force, and I like to have one-on-one meetings with every agent that joins our team. Now normally, there is an easing in period for new agents, but unfortunately, that is not going to happen for you. As you are aware, the Serial Killer Task Force has arrived in the city of New Columbia at the request of the city mayor as well as the state governor. A prolific murderer, the local news media is referring to as the Math Problem Killer, is loose on the streets, and our task force needs to hunt him down. Our arrival, however, has not gone unnoticed by the suspect. He has sent a message. He is holding a hostage, Bethany Morgan, at an abandoned construction site at 5678 Maple Avenue.
Or Bethany.
In his message, he indicated that I may send in an agent inside to attempt a rescue, but I may only send one agent. He also said that that agent may not have any contact with the outside. Now here is where you come in. I have reviewed your career performance thus far before joining the task force. It is impressive and consistent with the level of dedication and excellence that we expect in this organization.
Oh hell.
That is why I am choosing you to be that one agent that we send inside. As you step into this crucial role within our task force, tasked with the monumental responsibility of entering this facility alone, I must stress the importance of methodical and calculated action. I do not know what you are going to find in there, so use your head. Alright, Agent. That is all I got. Now get inside and bring Bethany Morgan out alive. Good luck.
Who sends in the new guy? Also, this is supposed to be graphic, so heads up. Press E to interact with doors, E to interact with radios. Let me out! Oh my god. That's the radio.
Welcome to my little game, Special Agent.
Oh, Jigsaw.
As I indicated in my introductory message, Bethany Morgan is currently in a large metal box located somewhere in this facility. Atop the metal box are two large containers of hydrofluoric acid. Any mistake on your part will cause the hydrofluoric acid to flood the metal box with Bethany. You see, that is the brilliance of my little game. I won't kill Bethany Morgan. You will.
I didn't put her in the box. You put her in the box, idiot. Stupid. Moron.
Do you want to know how I found Bethany, Special Agent? How I found my delicious little Bethany? I went to where you find all the pretty little young mommies. I went to the elementary school at 47th Street around 3 p.m. when school gets out. All the mommies show up. It's like a candy store, Special Agent. So I waited, and I watched.
Okay.
I was there for 17 minutes, and then I saw her, a curvy brunette with a ponytail and tight black yoga pants. Her name was Bethany Morgan. She was 28 years old. She picked up 3 kids. It was a carpool, Special Agent. As she pulled out of the school, I began following her. I knew she was the one. 48 minutes later, I was outside her house. It was time to get close to Bethany Morgan.
At least you didn't pick up some kid or something. That's...
You think you're
bright
smart,
spot.
don't you, Special
No.
Agent?
No, I don't.
You think you can solve my puzzles? Well, let's find out. I want you to start with Bethany Morgan's age, and then multiply it by the number of minutes I was waiting at the school before I saw her. Then add the number of minutes it took us to reach her house. Finally, multiply by the number of kids she picked up. The final answer will open door number 1. Let me tell you what will happen if you enter the wrong code, Special Agent, which I know you will. A radio signal from those devices on the door will be sent to the 2 large drums of hydrofluoric acid sitting atop the metal box holding the lovely and delicious Bethany Morgan. The radio signals will cause the valves on the drums to open, thereby allowing the hydrofluoric acid to flood the metal box. Do you have any idea what hydrofluoric acid will do to human skin?
Shines and cleans it. Okay, 48.
I was there for 17 minutes, and then I saw her, a curvy brunette with a ponytail and tight black yoga pants. Her name was Bethany Morgan. She was 28 years old. She picked up 3 kids. It was a carpool, Special Agent.
Point out the calculator.
As she pulled out of the school, I began following her. I knew she was the one. 48 minutes later, I was outside her house. It was time to get close to Bethany Morgan.
Wait, how many kids did she pick up?
I was there for 17
3
minutes.
kids. 3.
And then I saw her. You think you're smart? Well, let's find out. I want you to start with Bethany Morgan's age, and then multiply it by the number of minutes I was waiting at the school before I saw her. Then add the number of minutes it took us to reach her house. Finally, multiply by the number of kids she picked up.
I don't think PEMDAS applies right if it's... One 572. Good luck, Bethany. How the hell do I click which one? Oh, here we go. Boom! Saved. Oh man, if it's problems like that, we're good, baby. Calculators. Oh yeah. This killer's never heard of a calculator. What an idiot. What a moron. Oh, you're screwed, guy.
After dropping off the other 2 kids, we finally reached Bethany Morgan's house around 4 p.m. I began to watch my sweet little Bethany. I got close to the house. You would be surprised how close you can get to someone without them noticing. Sometimes I could hear her breathing. I learned the 3rd child was her son, Carl Morgan, age 8. And he was going to the babysitter tomorrow at 1 p.m. And that Bethany was married to some troglodyte named Stanley Morgan, age 36. If I was going to get my private time with Bethany, then Stanley needed to be disposed of.
That's Stanley?
47 minutes after I abducted him, I had Stanley strapped to a table. I asked him a math question. If he answered correctly, I asked him another, and another, and another. When he answered incorrectly, I shoved a nail through his body.
You got a good bit
After
right.
47 minutes, Stanley received 2 nails in his right arm, 2 nails in his left arm, 9 nails in his torso, 8 nails in his right leg, and 9 nails in his left leg.
Okay.
I want you to start with Stanley's age,
38.
and then multiply by the number of nails in Stanley's left leg, then multiply by the number of nails in his torso, then finally multiply by the number of nails in his left arm. Your answer will open door number 2. Did you get all of that, Special Agent? Because if you didn't, Bethany burns.
You know what suck is if that radio like exploded or something after you said that? Wouldn't that suck? Oh, that'd be tragic.
Stanley came out of the store with his hands full of grocery bags. When he got to his car, he fiddled with his keys. At that moment, I walked up to him with my hand raised and smiling. I pretended to know him. He paused and tried to remember me. That was a mistake. This allowed me to get real close. As soon as I was within arm's distance, I tasered him. As he was convulsing, I pushed him into the car and duct taped his arms, legs, and mouth. Then I casually grabbed his keys and drove away.
And he waddled away, waddle, waddle, waddle. And he waddled away.
At 9 a.m.,
God,
Stanley
grapes.
got into his car and left the house. I saw an opportunity to remove him from my playtime with Bethany. I followed him. He drove 13 minutes to the nearest grocery store. A public abduction was risky, but necessary for my lovely Bethany. Because she was mine now. She just didn't know it yet.
Ah, there's a different door. He's 38, right? Ain't that what you said, 38?
After dropping off the other two kids, we finally reached Bethany Morgan's house around 4 p.m. I began to watch my sweet little Bethany. I got close to the house. You would be surprised how close you can get to someone without them noticing. Sometimes I could hear her
Superfluous
breathing.
information.
I learned
Superfluous
the third
information.
child was her son, Carl Morgan, to the babysitter tomorrow at 1 p.m.
36. Well, I'm glad I didn't put
That
it
Bethany was married to some troglodyte named Stanley Morgan, age 36. If I was going to get my private time with Bethany, then Stanley needed to be disposed of.
in. 36. Leg, torso, left leg, torso, then finally in his left arm. Left leg, torso, left arm.
Your answer will open door. 47 minutes after I abducted him, I had Stanley strapped to a table. I asked him a math question. If he answered correctly, I asked him another, and another, and another.
I think it's 292,
When he answered
right?
incorrectly, I shoved a nail through his body. After 47 minutes, Stanley received 2 nails in his right arm, 2 nails in his left arm, 9 nails in his torso,
Oh, 9.
8 nails in his right leg, and 9 nails in his...
Let me make sure he didn't say something that wasn't on the dialogue.
I want you to start with Stanley's age, and then multiply by the number of nails in Stanley's left leg.
Oh, that's door number
Then
3.
multiply by the number of nails in his torso. Then finally, multiply by the number of nails in his left arm. Your answer will open door number 2. Did you get all of that, Special Agent? Because
Yeah. There, number 2. Okay. Let's try it. 5, 9, 5, 8, 3, 2. I really hope I don't get her killed somehow, but I'm gonna do the best I can. With my calculator. Me and my calculator. Uh-oh. Hi! Oh no, she's got the child! I think. Oh, this is... Oh, leave the child alone, you evil idiot. You evil idiot.
Bethany's babysitter was Carmen Russell. She was 42. After Bethany dropped off Carl, I waited for 15 minutes, and then I entered the house. The door wasn't locked. It was almost too easy. Now that Stanley was just a pile of meat on my table, I quickly returned to Bethany's house. I was just in time. She was taking Carl, age 8, to the babysitter's. It was 1 p.m. I followed them for 39 minutes. You know, Special Agent, the safety of the children in this city has really gone downhill.
Like you.
It is almost as if a complete stranger can walk into a babysitter's home and do horrible things. You should really look into that, Special Agent.
Bro, I just started working here, guy. It'd be nice if you didn't put 50,000 radios everywhere.
As I entered the house, I saw Carmen scrolling through her phone in the kitchen. I stood there for 76 seconds, deciding whether to kill her or play with her. She was pretty. I made my decision. I walked up behind Carmen, grabbed her hair, and slammed her head into the counter. It was time to play. I want you to start with Carmen's age, and then multiply
42.
by the number of seconds I waited, deciding whether I was going to kill or play with her. Then add the number of minutes I waited before entering the house. Your answer will be variable B.
We're getting more and more math.
Listen up, Special Agent. One mistake and Bethany dies. And so does her son. You must add variable A,
That means I need 2 calculators.
your number 3.
Okay.
I tied the babysitter to a chair and stood in front of her. She cried. The tears rolled down her face. I told her I was going to ask her a simple math problem. If she got it right, I would let her go. If she got it wrong, well, I told her what was going to happen, what I was going to do. As soon as I was done, she screamed. She knew she could not solve the problem. So I grabbed my knives, and I began my work. It was glorious.
Oh, this guy's annoying. I really don't like him at all.
As I entered the house, I saw Carmen scrolling through her phone in the
76.
whether to kill her or play with her. She was pretty. I want you to start with Carmen's age, and then multiply by the number of seconds I waited, deciding whether I was going to kill or play with her. Then add the number of minutes I waited before entering the house. Your answer will be variable B. Bethany's babysitter
42 plus 15.
The door was unlocked. I want you to start with Carl's age,
8.
then multiply by the number of minutes I followed Bethany to the babysitter's. You will next multiply by the number of trucks Carl was playing with. The answer will be variable A, Special Agent.
How many trucks were you playing with, bud?
With Carmen tied to a chair and with her mouth duct taped, I went looking for Carl.
8,
I
7.
found him in the back room playing with 7 little toy trucks. He would move one and save room, then move another and save room. I grabbed him. Don't worry, Special Agent.
Oh, that's good
Carl
at least.
is very much alive. For now. In fact, he is very close by. You see, I knew I could not separate mother from child. I put him in the crate with Bethany. So now, if you make a mistake, you are not just killing Bethany, but her young son as well. Think carefully, Special Agent. Your mistakes have consequences.
Well, you've already made a big mistake. And that's giving me math problems. Idiot.
You know, Special Agent, with safety. Now that Stanley was just a pile of meat on my table, I quickly returned to Bethany's house and
739.
walked into it. I want you to start with Carl's age, then multiply by the number of minutes I followed Bethany. You will next multiply by the number of trucks Carl was playing with. The answer will be variable A, Special Agent. I want you to start with Carl's age, then multiply by the number of minutes I followed.
Just to make
Now
sure.
that Stanley
I don't
was
want
just
to
a
make a
pile
mistake.
of meat on my table, I quickly returned to Bethany's house. I was just in time. She was taking Carl, age 8,
8, 7, 39. Just so I don't lose the numbers. I'm gonna be really sad if I mess this up somehow. Because the only way I can mess this up really is like by misunderstanding what he's saying more so than doing the math wrong, since I'm using a calculator. 5391 allegedly.
Listen up, Special Agent. One mistake.
Okay. Boom. Yay. Lucky so far, Bethany. What? Where's my gun at, bro?
When I had Stanley bleeding and strapped to my table, I made him call Bethany and tell her that he was going to pick up Carl for a father-son evening, and to not worry about the babysitter. Stanley could have taken that moment on the phone to alert his wife, to scream out a warning. But he did not. In the end, in those final moments, Stanley only thought of his own survival. In just a few minutes, I was able to peel away the fake layers and expose the real Stanley Morgan. Stanley did not deserve my Bethany. Bethany was mine. Stanley just quivered and did what he was told. He was selfish. He was afraid. Stanley was more concerned about his personal well-being than that of his wife and child. And now he is dead, and the babysitter is dead. And I had Carl, and I was inside their house. Just me and Bethany.
Bethany's not that into you, dude. I hate to break it to
Do you like playing house, Special Agent? I like to play house. I was going to play house with Bethany. I entered the home at 7 p.m. I could hear giggling and laughter. Bethany had called over her neighbor, Stacy Beecham. She was 36, and they were having a little wine party together.
But yeah, she killed Stacy. Or did you put her in the tub with everybody else? Must be a big tub.
As I approached the girly giggles on the couch in the living room, I grabbed a meat cleaver from the kitchen. I then entered the living room, approached Stacy and swung into her neck. She was dead 11 seconds later. Bethany screamed and froze as I knew she would. These suburban housewives are so weak. I jumped on her, threw her to the ground, and duct taped her legs, mouth, and arms.
Not only does he not know about calculators, he spells weak with an A in his freaking recordings. What is wrong with this guy? What a moron. This serial killer's an idiot, actually.
I want you to start with Stacy Beecham's age, and multiply it by the time I entered the house. Then multiply your answer by the number of seconds it took Stacy to die. The answer will open the final door, Special Agent. The door to the room with Bethany and Carl. But if you enter the wrong answer into the keypad, as I know you will, Special Agent, they both burn alive.
I gotta keep saying he knows him. I will be back next week. The hell you will. Who the hell's that?
I hung Stacy Beecham
Thought you cut her
in
head
the
off.
living room. I had to hang her by the hands. Her neck was almost severed. I dragged Bethany in front of her hanging friend, and I made her look at it. As I forced her to look at the hanging corpse, I whispered into her ear, "Your husband chose to save himself. You are mine now."
How did he save himself? Didn't he die? I'm so confused by that, actually. I don't think I understood. I know he said... I don't understand. I don't understand. So...
Do you like playing
entered the home
house,
at 7,
Special Agent?
36.
I like
11 seconds, right? 7:36. Unless it's military time.
As I approached the girly giggles on the couch in the living room, I grabbed a meat cleaver from the kitchen. I then entered the living room, approached Stacy, and swung into her neck. She was dead 11 seconds later. Bethany's. I want you to start with Stacy Beecham's age, and multiply it by the time I entered the house. Then multiply your answer by the number of seconds it took Stacy to die. The answer will open the final door, Special Agent. The door to the room with Bethany and Carl. But if you enter the wrong answer into the keypad, as I know you will, Special Agent.
Yeah, that's the question. Is it military time? Because if it's military time, it's 19. It's not. We'll see, I guess. Because he did say 7 p.m. He should have said 1900. Unless it's supposed to be like a plot twist kind of thing where I get the wrong answer because he did that.
I want you to start with Stacy. As I approached the girly giggles on the couch in the living room, I grabbed a meat cleaver from the kitchen. I then entered the living room, approached Stacy, and swung into her neck. She was dead 11 seconds later.
Well, if I get it wrong, it's because he gave me not enough information and he's a piece of crap. Which, he is a piece of crap, so I wouldn't be shocked. Either way, I'm gonna have to go back and get the bad ending if I don't get it here anyways. This is a very short game. Okay, he didn't cheese me. Good. I was about to say, bro. That would have been quite the plot twist, though. It would have been very frustrating, but quite the plot twist. Which one should I go talk to first? I'll talk to this one first, I guess.
I want you to add variable A to variable B.
Oh, that's the last
If your
one.
answer is odd, then enter it into the crate keypad holding Bethany and Carl Morgan. If the answer is even, then I want you to add the number of nails in Stanley's right leg. Is that too complicated for you, Special Agent? Well, that is the point. Now enter the wrong answer and burn them alive.
Where's Stanley at?
I want you to start with Stacy's age
36.
and multiply it by the time it took her
11.
to die. The answer will be variable B. Special.
36 times 11.
It all comes down to the numbers, Special Agent. Harmless little numbers. The right ones will free Bethany Morgan from this nightmare. The wrong ones will burn her and her son Carl alive. Let's hope you have the right numbers, Special Agent. You think you're smart, don't you, Special Agent? You think you can solve my puzzles? I doubt it. I want you to start with Bethany's age and multiply it by Carl's age. The answer will be variable A.
What is her age? It'd suck if you shut the door on me, though, wouldn't it? That'd be so messed up. Hey, what's Bethany's age, bro?
After dropping off the other two kids, we finally...
I think the right one. It's over here.
I was there
28.
for 17
8 times
minutes.
28. Well, that's an even number, dude.
And then Bethany.
I'm confused by the drive the nails into Stanley's leg thing, because that's a lot of numbers.
I want you to add variable A to variable B. If your answer is odd, then enter it into the crate keypad holding Bethany and Carl Morgan.
Oh, then I want you to add the
If the
numbers
answer
nails.
is even, then I want...
Okay, I got you. I thought you wanted me to add nails to Stanley's right leg. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make... I was like, that's too many numbers, bro.
47 minutes after I abducted him, I had Stanley strapped to a table. I asked him a math question. If he answered correctly, I asked him another, and another, and another. When he answered incorrectly, I shoved a nail through his body. After 47 minutes, Stanley received 2 nails in his right arm, 2 nails in his left arm, 9 nails in his torso, 8 nails in his right leg.
I mean, I still got 8 nails in his right leg. That's still an even number, my guy. What the hell's wrong with you?
I want you to add variable A to variable B. If your answer is odd,
If your answer is odd, you're either wrong or I'm wrong. Oh hell, is that wrong?
Alright everybody, let's get this briefing started. Instead of doing this at the tax center, I wanted to do it here, in front of this wall. We will be conducting these briefings in the suspect's dungeons from now on. I want to first begin by congratulating our new special agent for entering this serial killer's facility and successfully disarming 5 traps and then recovering Bethany Morgan, as well as her young son, Carl Morgan. That is outstanding work. That success has bought us some time. Now it's time for us to get hunting. Let's establish a detailed timeline of Bethany Morgan's movements leading up to her disappearance. Now, the recordings recovered in this facility describe the events of the abduction, but for all we know, the killer could have made everything up. I want to verify everything and make our own timeline. Let's conduct extensive interviews with Bethany Morgan's friends, family, and acquaintances. Look for any possible connections. Is our suspect a friend? A jilted romantic interest? Was Bethany Morgan randomly picked, or was there a history? Be thorough. The details matter. Finally, let's start to put together a profile for this math problem killer. Let's start to get into this guy's head. Alright everybody, we have not seen the last of this guy, and I want to get him before he grabs another innocent person. Let's get to work.
1 week later, the influencer murderers.
Special Agent, it has been 1 week, and the task force has received a second video from the math problem killer. He is holding a young woman named Julie Gray at 1239 Sycamore Street. And same as last time, we can only send 1 agent inside to attempt a rescue. Due to your success last week at the Bethany Morgan facility, I've decided to send you in again. Now, there are multiple Julie Grays registered in the city, and there have been no missing reports submitted for Julie Gray, so I cannot give you any information on the hostage. I can, however, give you some intel on the location. 1239 Sycamore Street is similar to the Bethany Morgan facility in that it is an abandoned commercial construction site. According to the city planning office, the building plans submitted indicated the site had 5 rooms. If the suspect has set it up like last time, you can expect 5 trapdoors to disarm, plus the final crate holding Julie Gray. Remember, precision and accuracy are paramount in these operations. Each step you take, each decision that you make must be measured and deliberate. Take the time to analyze, to assess, and to solve the problems presented by the suspect. Now get in there and bring Julie Gray out alive. Good luck.
Good luck. I actually want to see how many missions there are. Oh Jesus, there is a lot. I'm about to do this, like, I'm about to take a break. I see why it's $20 now. It's long. It's long. Yeah, give me 1 sec. I actually want to check what happens if you do something wrong first. That's it. actually. All that setup for you failed? I don't like that. Alright. What you got for me this time, bud?
Hello there, Special Agent.
Yep, I'm the
You
best.
might think you are something special, getting that lovely Bethany Morgan out of her little box alive. But let me tell you something. You are nothing. You are insignificant. And I am going to prove it. I have another little toy named Julie Gray locked in a box somewhere at the end of this little dungeon of mine. I will let you have her back if you can answer all of my questions correctly. However, if you make even one mistake, the little toy burns.
I don't make mistakes, obviously.
I knew exactly where to go. I knew exactly where Julie was vulnerable. I knew exactly when to strike, and I did not even need to leave my computer. And now Julie Gray is mine. But I will let you have her back, Special Agent, if you can answer my questions. All you have to do is add variable A to variable B. The answer will open door number 1. Let me read you one of her social media posts. Quote, going to O'Shea's tonight at 7 for shots and partying. Hashtag living. Well, guess where I was at 7 p.m., Special Agent? At the bar, waiting.
How dare she be late?
Julie showed up
stalker.
18 minutes after 7. She was with 2 other girls, Carla Gresham and Vanessa Hoffman. The 3 girls each had a brain-dead, muscle-bound boyfriend. They would be dealt with. The girls were all very pretty. I decided to pay each one of them a visit once I had my Julie. I watched the group for the rest of the night.
Door number 1.
At 3 p.m., when the bars closed, Julie left with Carla and Vanessa and their boyfriends, and Carter left the group. That was foolish. There is strength in numbers. There is strength in the pack. When one of the prey separates from the pack, that is when the predators strike. I saw an opportunity to get rid of Carter. I took it. I followed him back to his apartment. But before I tell you the rest, Special Agent, I want you to start with Julie's age and then multiply it by the time she said she was going to arrive at the bar. And then add the number of minutes she was late
7.
to the bar.
18.
Then multiply your answer by the time the bar closed. Your final answer will be variable A. It took us 23 minutes to get back to his apartment. Carter, who was 29 years old, stumbled to the front door. It was clear he was drunk. I simply walked up behind him, grabbed him, and threw him into his apartment. I duct taped his mouth and tied him to one of his chairs. I then grabbed a knife from the kitchen and began to practice my pumpkin carving on his body. He was dead 57 minutes later, but not from my cutting. He was screaming so much from the cutting that he began to throw up. It's just too bad my duct tape was on his mouth. He choked to death on his own vomit. Listen up, Special Agent. I want you to start with Carter's age, then multiply by the number of minutes he survived after I started cutting him, and then add the number of minutes it took us to get to his apartment. The answer will be variable B. It took us 23 minutes to get back to his apartment. Carter, who was 29 years old, stumbled to the front door.
Takes too long to talk,
It's clear
bro.
he was drunk.
God, he talks so slow.
I simply walked up
Annoying as
behind
hell.
him, grabbed him, and
On my calculator. 23.
I
29.
then grabbed a knife from the kitchen and began to practice my pumpkin carving on his body. He was dead 57 minutes later, but not from my cutting. He was screaming so much from the cutting that he began to throw up. It's just too bad my duct tape was on his mouth. He choked to death on his own vomit. Listen up, Special Agent. I want you to start with Carter's age, then multiply by the number of minutes he survived after I started cutting him, and then add the number of minutes it took us to get to his apartment. The answer will be variable B.
I keep forgetting, bro, because he takes so long.
It took us
29 times something plus something. Yeah, I can't do it, bro. He's so slow.
to tape his mouth and tied him to one of his chairs. I then grabbed a knife from the kitchen and began to
57. Is it 29 times 57 plus 23? I could like literally care less, dude. I could literally care
his
less.
mouth.
He talks so
Choked
slow.
to death on his own vomit. Listen up, Special Agent. I want you to start with Carter's age, then multiply by the number of minutes he survived after I started cutting him, and then add the number of minutes.
That better be the right answer. If you're dead, Carter, it's on your fault for him talking so slow. I don't know. God, he talks slow as hell. Ew.
Let's talk about my... is Julie Gray. She is 23 years old, and I found her on social media. Can you believe these foolish people posting everything about their lives on social media for anyone to find and consume? Julie Gray was no different. If a single thought entered her head, she would post it online. Where she goes to school, where she works, where she lives, what her habits are. She posts her routines, her schedules, her hobbies, people she cares about. She was so desperate for validation. Maybe
So are you,
if
dude.
Julie Gray did
So
not
are
post so
you,
much,
bro.
her boyfriend and her friends would still be alive. And she would not be locked inside a metal box about to be burned alive by acid.
This dude is like the epitome of needing validation by asking one person to come in and do math problems. Oh, Jesus, dude. That is the pot calling the kettle black for sure. My God. What was the whole thing again? 23 times 7.
Let me
18.
read you one of her social media. I knew exactly. I knew exactly when to strike, and I did not even need to leave my computer. And now Julie Gray is mine. But I will let you have her back, Special Agent. If you can answer my questions, all you have to do is add variable A to variable B. The answer will open door number 1.
Where's the variable thing in?
I decided to pay each one of them a visit once I had my Julie. I watched the group for the rest of the night.
Where's the variable radio at for A? Where's the variable thing? Not this one. Just don't want to pick the wrong one because of the dialogue. But I don't think it's in, but it could be.
Hello there, Special Agent. You might think you are something special, getting that lovely Bethany Morgan out of her little box alive. But let me tell you something. You are nothing. You are insignificant. And I am going to prove it. I have another little toy named Julie Gray locked in a box.
I can't.
I knew exactly where to go. I knew exactly where Julie was vulnerable. I knew exactly when to strike, and I did not even need to leave my computer. And now Julie Gray is mine. But I will let you have her back, Special Agent. If you can answer my questions. All you have to do is add variable A to variable B. The answer will open door number. Let me
Where's
read
the
you
dang
one of
variable
her
A
social
formula,
media
dude?
posts.
I don't remember which radio it
Quote,
was.
going to O'Shea's tonight at 7 for shots and partying. Hashtag living. Well, guess where I was at 7 p.m., Special Agent? At the bar, waiting. Julie showed up 18 minutes after 7. She was with 2 other girls, Carla Gresham and Vanessa Hoffman. The 3 girls each had a brain-dead, muscle-bound boyfriend. They would be dealt with. The girls were all very pretty. I decided to pay each one of them a visit once I had my Julie. I watched the group for the rest of the night.
That's it. Where the hell is variable A at? scam. Maybe this one will tell me. I don't know. I know that's variable B
At
over
3
there.
p.m., when the bars closed, Julie
The
left
stupid
with
predator
Carla
thing
and
again.
Vanessa and their boyfriends, and Carter left the group.
This is a radio.
That was foolish. There is strength in numbers. There is strength in the pack. When one of the prey separates from the pack, that is when the predators strike. I saw an opportunity to get rid of Carter. I took it. I followed him back to his apartment. But before I tell you the rest, Special Agent,
23.
I want you to start with Julie's age and then multiply it by the time she said she was going to arrive.
23 times 7 plus 18, I guess. When the bar closed? How the hell am I supposed to know when the bar closed? Dude.
Let me read you. Days tonight at 7 for shots and partying.
When does it
Hashtag
close?
living. Well, guess where I was at 7 p.m., Special Agent? At the bar, waiting. Julie showed up 18 minutes after 7. She was with 2 other girls, Carla Gresham and Vanessa Hoffman. The 3 girls each had a brain-dead, muscle-bound boyfriend. They would be dealt with. The girls were all very pretty. I decided to pay each one of them a visit once I had my Julie. I watched the group for the rest of the night.
No, wait, didn't he tell me this one, the one I just listened to? I think he says when the bar closes, I hope. Was it 9?
At 3 p.m., when
3
the bars
p.m.
closed,
3 a.m. It would have had to have been 3 a.m. Whatever. They went at 3 p.m. Why would a bar close at 3 p.m.? I feel like this is going to give me the wrong answer, but you know what's going to make me really mad is if I get through this whole thing and then it's like one of the answers is actually wrong. That really make me mad. Then I would downvote this game, probably. Well, at least his math's been on point so far, I guess. That's the main thing. Well, now he's collaring him. Good for him.
with Carter out of the way. And by out of the way, I mean covered in blood and vomit and tied to a chair in his kitchen. It was time to meet up with Julie for some private time. Normally, I will watch Prey for 3 days, gathering intelligence, learning where they live, where they are most vulnerable. But with Julie did all the work for me. It only took 25 minutes to figure out when and where I was going to take her. Her apartment at 6 o'clock.
Oh wow.
It took me 38 minutes to arrive at her apartment at 9783 West Newport Road. I arrived at 6 p.m. I walked casually up to the 3rd floor and I knocked on apartment 32. Julie opened the door, and at that moment, her nightmare began.
So many superfluous details, bro.
Julie screamed as I entered her apartment. I grabbed her quickly and put her on the floor. She screamed, "Please don't." I duct taped her mouth, her arms, and her legs. I rolled her over on her back and I looked her into the eyes. I got my head real close. Her eyes bulged with fear. She was breathing heavy. For so long, Julie Gray lived in a fake la-la world of social media posts and hashtags, but in that moment, that very moment, she was back in reality. She was back in the real world. I took her back to my dungeon 3 hours later. I want you to start with the number of minutes it took me to figure out when and where I was going to abduct her. Then add the time I arrived at her apartment.
I don't know. 6.
You will then multiply by Julie's age. I next want you to add her apartment number. Then multiply the number of hours I waited before I took her back to my dungeon. Is that too complicated for you, Special Agent? Good. That's the point. You are going to make a mistake, and you are going to enter the wrong code, and you will kill Julie Gray. Your answer will open door number 2.
Like the ultimate test of patience, bro. It really is. Alright, minute to abduct.
With Carter out of the way, and by out of the way, I mean covered in blood and vomit and tied to a chair in his
I don't even
kitchen.
know how many days.
It was time to meet up with Julie for some private time. Normally, I will watch Prey for 3 days, gathering intelligence, learning where they live, where they are most vulnerable. But with Julie did all the work for me. It only took 25 minutes to figure out when.
25 minutes. Okay, so we got 25. We're just gonna take one data point at a time. I think she was 23, but I could be wrong. What did you say, 6?
Julie screamed as I
Sorry,
entered.
don't talk to me.
I want you to start with the number of minutes it took me to figure out when and where I was going to abduct her. Then add the time I arrived at her apartment. Man, real close. It took me 38 minutes to arrive at her apartment at West Newport Road. I arrived at 6 p.m. I walked casually up to the 3rd floor and I knocked on apartment 32. Julie opened the door, and at that moment, her nightmare began. It took me 38 minutes to arrive at her apartment at
Yes, what time she
9783
arrived,
West
right?
Newport Road. I arrived at 6 p.m. I walked casually up to the 3rd floor and I knocked on apartment 32.
6, I had 6, I'm guessing, and then, what was her age again? 23, I believe.
Let's talk
I
about
was
what.
pretty sure. It's just so many numbers, bro. So, plus 6 times by 23, allegedly.
I want you to start with the number of minutes it took me to figure out when and where I was going to abduct her. Then add the time. That's the point. You are going to make a mistake, and you are going to enter the wrong code, and you will kill Julie Gray. Julie screamed as I entered her apartment. I grabbed her quickly and put her on the floor. She screamed, "Please don't." I duct taped her mouth, her arms, and her legs. I rolled her over on her back, and I looked her into the eyes. I got my head real close. Her eyes bulged with fear. She was breathing heavy. For so long, Julie Gray lived in a fake la-la world of social media posts and hashtags. It took me 38 minutes.
32, 3.
She was
32,
back
3.
in the real world. I want you to start with the number of minutes it took me to figure out when and where I was going to abduct her. Then add the time I arrived at her apartment. You will then multiply by Julie's age. I next want you to add her apartment number. Then multiply the number of hours I waited before. And you are going to enter the wrong code.
Probably. I'm getting tired of listening to your freaking messages, bro. Jesus Christ. I'm like really getting tired of it, actually. Oh, he talks so much. He better get shot in the face or something at the end, or I'm probably done with this. God dang, it better give me some good payoff. Why is there 11 stages of this, honestly? I think he was trying to give you your money's worth for how long the game is, like for how much it costs, but like, I feel like he should have just made this like a $4 game in like 5 minutes, like maybe 2-3 levels, because 11 levels seems like a lot for this.
Julie was now locked in the metal box in my dungeon, with nothing but her screams to keep her company. Now it was time to visit Carla Gresham, one of Julie's friends that she met at O'Shea's bar. Just like Julie, she posted every moment of her life on social media. And in a few short clicks, I knew exactly where Carla was. 29 minutes later, I was following her on 17th Street. You know, Special Agent, Matthew and Jeremy were a lot like you. They tried to save a total stranger, just like you are trying to save a total stranger. They prevented me from taking Carla, at least for a day, and you prevented me from killing Bethany Morgan. Maybe it's time I show you some of my nails, Special Agent. Why don't you try this? I want you to start with Jeremy's age and multiply that by the number of toes I cut off his foot. Then add variable A. The answer will open door number 3.
Uh-oh. Ah, hell. Am I really trapped? You gotta be freaking kidding me, bro. Oh my god. Let me out. Oh, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. Okay, I'm aggravated. I don't want to watch this stupid starting cutscene again. Why would you let me fall back here? Oh my god. Please, get the hell out of my way.
They both woke up in my dungeon. Julie was in the next room. They could hear her screaming.
Oh boy, I am so tilted actually.
Good luck.
Good luck. This would be a good game not to have full screen, honestly. Because, like, I could keep notes on, like, the side or something while he's talking, and it would be more like an investigation game instead of... Is there a full screen option? Of course there's not. Yeah, this would be a very good game to have windows. 2235, I'm guessing. That seems right to me. Boom. God, we're good at this game. It's amazing. But yeah, it would be so nice if I could just, like, have something up on the side. Actually, I have a pen right here, and I have some paper. I'm gonna just start writing everything down. Because I'm so tired of having to go back and forth with his recordings. It's actually pissing me off a good bit. He talks way too slow.
Julie was now locked in the metal box in my dungeon, with nothing but her screams to keep her company. Now it was time to visit Carla Gresham, one of Julie's friends that she met at O'Shea's bar. Just like Julie, she posted every moment of her life on social media. And in a few short clicks, I knew exactly where Carla was. 29 minutes later, I was following her on 17th Street. I had been following Carla, age 23, for 3 blocks. We were on 20th Street when Matthew Thompson, age 31, and Jeremy Fields, age 34, intentionally bumped into my left and then right shoulder. 2 then got very close, looked me in the eyes, and quietly but sternly said, "Some people do not like to be followed." That was the worst mistake of their lives.
Yeah, they seem like real bros, dude. Seem like really good guys, actually.
Matthew and Jeremy's chosen tactic was to intimidate me into leaving Carla alone. I could have killed them both at that very moment.
Superhero boy.
One quick slice to the throat with my knife, and it would have been all over.
Too much of a wuss for that.
But these two challenged me. They made me lose my prey. They were going to suffer. I feigned timidity and meekly turned and walked away. I wanted them to think they had won. This would cause them to lower their guard, and lower their guard they did. I followed them for the next 9 hours. They both woke up in my dungeon. Julie was in the next room. They could hear her screaming. I had them hanging from the ceiling by their hands. I first started cutting off 3 toes from Jeremy's right foot, then 4 fingers from Jeremy's right hand. He screamed. Then Matthew screamed for me to stop. So I did. Then I picked up my hammer and nails and began hammering 8-inch nails into Matthew. I put 13 nails into his right arm and 7 nails into his left leg. I went back and forth between the 2 men for 11 hours.
I don't know what hours he said. How many hours? 11
I
hours?
both woke up in my dungeon. Julie was in the next room. They could hear her screaming. I had them hanging from the ceiling by their
My
hands.
handwriting sucks so bad.
I first started cutting off
So
3
bad, bro.
toes from Jeremy's right foot, then 4 fingers from Jeremy's right hand. He screamed. Then Matthew screamed for me to stop. So I did. Then I picked up my hammer and nails and began hammering
You're gonna
8-inch
die
nails
because Zach
into
can't read my
Matthew.
handwriting.
I put 13 nails into his 7 nails into his left leg. At 1 p.m. at the bar on 39th Street, I was able to put a little Rufinol into Jeremy's drink. He began to pass out. Being the good friend, Matthew took his friend out of the bar and drove back to his apartment and carried him inside. I followed them in. Jeremy was drugged, so all I had to do was deal with Matthew. I attacked him from behind. It was over quickly. Listen up, Special Agent. I want you to start with Matthew's age and add Carla's age. Then I want you to multiply by the length of the nails I hammered into Matthew. Then subtract the number of fingers I cut off of Jeremy before starting to hammer into Matthew. Then multiply by the street number that Matthew
the
and Jeremy
frick?
bumped into me on. Then finally subtract the number of hours I tortured the 2 men. Your final answer will be very belay.
Go ahead with the nails again.
Listen up, Special Agent. I want you to start with Matthew's age and add Carla's age. Then I want you to multiply by the length of the nails I hammered into Matthew. Then subtract the number of fingers I cut off of Jeremy before starting to hammer into Matthew. Then multiply by the street number that Matthew and Jeremy bumped into me on. Then finally subtract the number of hours I tortured the 2 men. Your final answer will be very belay.
Very boy, huh? Yeah, I just need the street again. Was it 20th Street?
I have been following Carla,
20th Street.
age 20.
Alright, a variable A will be, if I'm correct, because it's a lot of numbers, 31 plus 23. Same age as Jenna. To be noted. 23 times 8. For the nail size. Minus 4 for how many fingers he cut off. Times 20. For the street. Minus 11. Okay. 8549.
You know, Special Agent, Matthew and Jeremy were a lot like you. They tried to save a total stranger, just like you were trying to save a total stranger. They prevented me from taking Carla, at least for a day, and you prevented me from killing Bethany Morgan. Maybe it's time I show you some of my nails, Special Agent. Why don't you try this? I want you to start with Jeremy's age, then multiply that by the number of toes I cut off his foot. Then add variable A. The answer will open door number 3.
34 times 3. 3. 102. 102 plus whatever we already had. Plus 102. Let's see if this worked or not. See if I can read my own handwriting. Boom, shakalaka. Yeah, this notepad thing's a lot better, so I don't have to listen to these recordings like 40 times. Okay. That's our new system. I don't know what the hell this is. Somebody drew a unicorn. Probably put this upstairs. Somebody used my notebook. Alright, guys. He just throws out so many numbers at once and then, like, has, like, all this other details that don't matter.
Just like Julie Gray, Carla Gresham published her entire life on social media for complete strangers to consume. Within 11 minutes, I learned where she lived, and thanks to another social media post about how she was watching a scary movie that night, I knew she was going to be home. It was time to strike.
Okay. What do you got, Green Man?
After I was done dealing with Matthew and Jeremy,
Oh, no.
I needed to find Carla again.
Where's the subtitles?
Carla was 23. I went to her
no.
social media. She had just posted about what a great day she spent shopping at the mall on 52nd Street. I stared at Carla. She was gorgeous. She had hundreds of photos of her in provocative outfits, posing in suggestive positions. I decided to spend some time with Carla.
Okay, we're down.
It took me 39 minutes to reach her apartment. I knocked on the door. Carla's boyfriend, Ross, aged 28, answered the door. I tasered him and he fell to the ground. I barged into the apartment. Carla screamed, but within 16 seconds, I had her bound and gagged.
Yeah, I really wish this was window mode so I could really just type this out, because my handwriting is so bad, dude. It's awful.
In a chair sitting in front of a large metal box. Ross was locked inside that metal box. I told her I was going to ask her a math question. If she got it right, I would ask another. If she got it wrong, I would pour 3 liters of hydrofluoric acid into the box containing Ross. It turns out Carla was very bad at math.
Well, bro, it doesn't matter if you're gonna keep asking questions forever, you idiot. Oh, I'm gonna ask you another one. That's so helpful, dude. Thanks.
You must start with Carla's age, then multiply by the amount of time it took me to learn where she lived from her social media. Then multiply by the number of liters of hydrofluoric acid I would pour into the crate if she got my math questions wrong. The answer will open door number 4.
Wait a second. Did he say multiply?
You must start with Carla's age.
Okay, well that's the easy one. Give me so many numbers that I don't need, which I guess is intentional, but still, I don't care. Annoying. Annoying. Times 11 times 3. That's a really small code. You sure, dude? Wait a second, let me just... That's a really small number.
You must start
This is
with
0759?
Carla's age, then multiply by the amount of time it took me to learn where she...
Okay, whatever. We'll try it. Seems like a really small number, though. No, we're not going that way again. Hell no. Okay, weird. I was about to put 0759, but I'm glad I didn't. I mean, it's the same room every time, bro. See you next week yet again.
Once my time with Carla and Ross was over, it was time to go see Vanessa Hoffman, age 25. She was Julie's 3rd friend from O'Shea's. Just like Carla and Julie, she posted everything on social media.
How long did it take you, bro?
Vanessa was so full of narcissism.
How long did it take you to find her?
She was foolish, so naive. Our privacy is a
Stay on
guardian,
track,
special
bro.
agent. It is a shield, a protector from the madness that lurks in the outside world, and Vanessa surrendered that guardian, that shield and protector. It was easy to find her, to stalk her, to approach her, and finally, to take her. Let's hope all those social media likes was worth it.
Totally. Definitely was.
It took me 11 minutes
minutes
to
again?
learn where Vanessa lived, and then another 36 minutes to arrive at Vanessa's apartment. The time was 10 p.m. I walked up the stairs and knocked on the door. Vanessa's boyfriend,
How many
Clayton,
times?
age 31, answered the door. I tasered him and he fell to the ground. I then raced into the apartment and jumped onto Vanessa. I had her bound and gagged in duct tape in 37 seconds. 86 minutes later, they were both back in my dungeon. And then the real fun began.
Dang, boy, you must be out of shape if it only takes 36 minutes to get home and it took you 86 minutes to get back. So took you 50 minutes to put him in the car? My guy. You need to work out.
I told them that they could take the other person's torment. If I was going to cut Vanessa, then Clayton could say he would take that torment and I would cut him instead. Conversely, they could also give their torment away. If I was going to cut Vanessa, she could give the cut to Clayton. They turned on each other immediately. They both started screaming to hurt the other person, as I knew they would. So I slit both of their throats.
Okay, well that was pointless.
When Clayton and Vanessa woke up, they were tied to chairs in my dungeon. They were facing each other. I told them what I was going to do to them. I went into gory, excruciating detail. They both started to scream uncontrollably and begged me to let them go. I decided to play a game with the two.
Okay.
I want you to start with Vanessa's age,
25.
then multiply by the number of minutes it took me to learn where Vanessa lived from her
11.
social media. Then multiply by the time I arrived at her apartment.
36.
Then add the number of seconds it took me to bound and gag Vanessa with duct tape.
37.
The answer will open the final door.
Well, that's it? Okay. 25 times 11 times 36 plus 37. Wait, are we sure that's right? 25 times 11 times 36. Yeah, I guess so. 37. 9937, apparently. That's a pretty big number. Okay. Wait, you're telling me that's wrong? Nah, I don't think so. Wait, maybe I remember the... Ain't that what I put in? 9937? That seems right to me. Oh, hell, here we go again.
Special Agent.
Why do I have to watch this stupid
and the task
cutscene,
force
bro?
has received a second video from the math problem killer.
25 times?
He is holding a young woman
Maybe I
named Julie
misheard.
Gray at 1239 Sycamore Street. And
Oh,
same
it's
as last
39
time, you
minutes
can
to
only
the
send
apartment.
one agent inside
I
to
told you I
attempt a
can't read
rescue.
my handwriting, bro.
Due to your success
No, wait,
last
that's
week
the other
at
person.
the
His
Bethany
was
Morgan
36.
facility, I've decided to send you in again. Now, there are multiple Julie Grays registered in the city, and there have been no missing reports submitted for Julie Gray, so I cannot give you any information on the hostage. I can, however, give you some intel on the location. 1239 Sycamore Street is similar to the Bethany Morgan facility in that it is an abandoned commercial construction site. According to the city planning office, the building plan submitted indicated the site had 5 rooms. If the suspect has set it up like last time, you can expect 5 trapdoors to disarm, plus the final crate holding Julie Gray. Remember, precision and accuracy are paramount in these operations. Each step you take, each decision that you make must be measured.
Yeah, you can keep talking. I'm gonna look for the answers real quick. And that other playthrough. 2213.
Bring Julie Gray out alive. Good luck.
But I'm pretty sure. Wasn't the other one like 2235? What the? Wait a second now. Is that the... is that door number 3 actually? Oh, that's the wrong door. I guess. It's like one of the answers is actually wrong. Bro, I can't believe you have to listen to all that crap again. I would download this game. Okay. Just get the hell out of my way.
They both woke up in my dungeon. Julie was in the next room.
Last time, we can only send one agent inside to attempt arrest.
Oh boy, I am so tilted actually. Past me was so right. I am so tilted. It's insane.
Julie Gray's registered in the city, and there have been no missing
The
reports
accuracy is
submitted for Julie
astounding.
Gray. So I cannot give you any information on the hostage. I can, however, give you some intel on the location. 1239 Sycamore Street is similar to the Bethany Morgan facility in that it is an abandoned commercial construction site. According to the city planning office, the building plans submitted indicated the site had 5 rooms. If the suspect has set it up like last time, you can expect 5 trapdoors to disarm, plus the final crate holding Julie Gray. Remember, precision and accuracy are paramount in these operations. Each step you take, each decision that you make must be measured and deliberate. Take the time to analyze, to assess, and to solve the problems presented by the suspect. Now get in there and bring Julie Gray out alive. Good luck.
Good luck. Or door number 1. Boom. Speed run. Oh.
I want you to start with Vanessa's age.
25.
Then multiply by the number of minutes it took me to learn where
36.
Vanessa lived from
Oh,
her social
11.
media.
11.
Then multiply by the time I arrived at her apartment.
Oh, by the time you arrived.
Add
That's
the
how
number
long
of
it took you.
seconds it took me to bound and gag Vanessa with duct tape. The answer will open the final door.
So it was 10. My bad. I got you. Okay, I got you. He arrived at 10 p.m. Allegedly. Let me make sure. I'd rather not die again. I'm pretty sure it's 10.
It took me 11 minutes to learn where Vanessa lived, and then another 36 minutes to arrive at Vanessa's apartment.
10.
The time was 10.
Okay, let's try this again. I'm very glad you can skip doors. Honestly. So 25 times 11 times, shut up, dude. 10 plus 37. 2787, allegedly. Oh, thank God. See you next week.
So the stupid, pathetic little task force agent
Self-reflecting,
thinks
bro.
they're smart enough to rescue
Self-reflecting.
Julia Gray just because you made it to the final room? Is that what you think? Well, let me tell you what is really going to happen. You are going to add variable A to variable B, but you are going to do the math wrong, and you are going to kill Julia Gray. That is what is going to happen, Special Agent.
I actually killed her twice already, but that's fine. That's fine.
Let's not forget why we are here.
23.
The beautiful Julie Gray. I want you to start with Julie's age, then multiply by the number of minutes her boyfriend Carter survived
I don't have that
after I
written down.
started carving into his body. The answer will be variable B.
Have that written down. That's before I got out my notebook. How dare you? How dare you ask about things pre-notebook, you piece of crap.
At 3 p.m., when the bars closed, Julie left with Carla. It took us 23 minutes to get back to his apartment. Carter, who was 29 years old, stumbled to the front door. It was clear he was drunk. I simply walked up behind him, grabbed him, and threw him into his apartment. I duct taped his mouth and tied him to one of his chairs. I then grabbed a knife from the kitchen and began to practice my pumpkin carving. But before I tell you the rest, Special Agent,
I don't care, bro.
I want you to...
Whoa. Okay, what's variable A? I'm sure it's a number I don't have, so I'm just gonna have to go back for it, but that's okay.
In front of you is Julie Gray, locked inside that crate. All you have to do is enter the correct code into the keypad,
I know.
and Julie survives this nightmare. Enter the wrong code, however, and those drums of hydrofluoric acid begin to drain inside the crate, and Julie Gray's nightmare gets so much worse. Let's talk about Julie's beautiful friends, Carla Gresham and Vanessa Hoffman. I want you to add their ages together, then multiply by the number of seconds it took me to bound and gag Vanessa Hoffman in duct tape. Then multiply the number of liters of hydrofluoric acid I poured onto Carla's boyfriend every time she got a math question wrong. The answer will be variable A. Let's talk about Julie's beautiful friends, Carla Gresham and Vanessa Hoffman. I want you to add their ages together, then multiply by the number of seconds it took me to bound and gag Vanessa Hoffman in duct tape. Then multiply the number of liters of hydrofluoric acid I poured onto Carla's boyfriend every time.
Okay, dude. Go out. So, we got 23 plus 25. Pretty sure Carla's 23. And then times 37 seconds for boundage. Times 3 for liters. Okay. And then we add... thing where 23 times 57? It's 23 times 7. Plus 1311. And then we got 6639. I hope I didn't get that wrong. You're welcome.
Alright everyone, let's get this debrief started. I want to first start by commending the special agent that entered this facility alone and successfully recovered Julie Gray alive. Your composure, critical thinking, and analytical approach are reflective of the highest standards of this task force. Outstanding work. Okay, next. This is the second week, and we've already had a second abduction. That is incredibly fast turnaround time. Usually these types of individuals take time to revel in their accomplishment. It's usually a couple weeks, even months before the next abduction. The fact that it occurred almost immediately is extremely worrisome. This means we need to get motivated. We now have 2 facilities to examine, which means we now have 2 opportunities to find forensic clues. I want the forensic teams working overtime conducting comprehensive reviews of these locations. Any clue, no matter how insignificant, will put us one step closer to catching this guy. Alright everyone, let's get to work. I want to catch this suspect before he grabs another innocent bystander.
Before this next day starts... Okay, never mind, the walking stopped. 1 week later, the cul-de-sac slaughters...
Special Agent, the task force has received a third communication from the math problem killer. In this communication, the suspect indicates that he is holding a hostage named Brittany Hansen at 72548 Lakeview Drive. Like the previous 2 facilities, this one is also an abandoned construction site. The suspect indicated that the task force may send only 1 agent inside to attempt a rescue. Your past 2 operations have been extremely successful,
I know,
and there's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So from now on, you are the Task Force Point Agent. Your objective for this mission is to enter the facility and recover Brittany Hansen alive. The killer is going to tell you uncomfortable and disturbing fact patterns when you are inside. This killer intends to provoke fear and to stir emotions. When people get emotional, they make mistakes, and this guy wants you to make a mistake. Remain steadfast to logic, to analysis, and to critical thinking. Now get inside that facility and get Brittany Hansen out alive. Good luck.
Plot twist, the special agent guy that's talking to me is the killer. With the voice modifier. Pretty dang sure. I'm feeling it. I'm using my critical thinking.
Hello, Special Agent. Brittany Hansen, age 44, is somewhere in this facility, locked inside a box, with two very large barrels of hydrofluoric acid resting atop that box. Answer one of my questions incorrectly, and the hydrofluoric acid floods the box, and the lovely Brittany will start to resemble her husband. Now let us begin. Figure out the code to door number 1, if you can.
Sure I can.
This is a wood mannequin representing David Hansen, aged 46. The real David Hansen is a puddle of goo inside one of these barrels. I will let your forensic team figure out which one. I placed that mannequin exactly where I placed David Hansen, in a chair in the middle of a room with nothing but the screams of his family to keep him company.
It's a bunch of plywood you put together, you friggin' knob.
Let's learn a little bit more about how I found Brittany Hansen, shall we? I was driving along 102nd Street when I spotted a 2012 sport utility vehicle. On the rear windshield, in the lower left position, there were placed 5 stickers of happy-looking stick people that represented members of a family. There was one for Dad, one for Mom, one for a son, one for another son, and even a little dog sticker.
Wait a sec. What you got, bud?
I want you to start with Brittany's age, then multiply by the number of stickers on Brittany's car window. You will then add the year of the car, and then subtract the street number I first saw the Hansens on. The answer will open door number 1.
That was too easy. I didn't even hear this one decent yet.
Those stick figures on her car window were lovely and idyllic, and in a safe world, it would be perfectly acceptable. But as you know, Special Agent, we do not live in a safe world. At that moment, I knew I found my next victims. Riddle me this, Special Agent, why would someone broadcast their family composition to complete strangers on the road? To complete strangers who might be dangerous. To complete strangers that might follow you home. I am sure Brittany Hansen thought to herself, why not, when she applied those 5 stickers to her car window.
Stickers, and it
And I'm
became
certain
business.
that when she found herself in my dungeon,
seriously.
naked and duct taped to a chair covered in tears and blood, underground where no one could hear her scream, Brittany Hansen also learned, why not?
Bro really hates stickers, my guy. 2 of those were absolutely useless. Plot twist. 44 times 5 plus 2012. Oh. Minus 102. 2130. I wonder if I can just punch the numbers in. Yeah. That dang freaking walking sound is looping, bro. And it's pissing me off, bro. Why does it do that?
I followed the Hansens back to their house. It took us 43 minutes. They lived in a large 2-story home on a cul-de-sac along 45873 Margot Drive. There were 4 houses in the cul-de-sac. It was 3 p.m. when we arrived. I watched my prey for 7 hours.
Hope that street number doesn't have anything to do with it. 'Cause I did not write that down. Kind of just started word vomiting everything at me, which is kind of nice actually.
At 10 p.m., with the neighborhood covered in darkness, I entered the first house on the cul-de-sac. There were two people inside, Rosalind Hubbard, age 32, and Edward Hubbard, age 39. They were cuddled tightly under the covers with smiles on their faces. It was easy to pull them out of bed and duct tape them each to a chair, then duct tape their mouths and have them face each other.
I think we should go this way actually. Oh wait, there's no radio over here. Okay, I guess I gotta go this way.
I surmised Rosalind would know more about the neighborhood, so I started cutting Edward. Then I started to hammer nails into his body. Rosalind screamed, but the duct tape muffled her cries. After 15 minutes of hammering nails, she was ready. She answered anything. I began asking her questions about each house and each family. I questioned Rosalind for 53 minutes. When I was done, she begged me to let her go. She begged me not to hurt her. I put the duct tape back on her mouth, then cut Edward's throat. She screamed violently. I then grabbed her by her hair and slit her throat. My time with the Hubbards was over. You must add Rosalind's age to the time I entered their house, and then multiply the answer by the number of minutes I interrogated Rosalind. The answer will open door number 2.
Wait a second, when?
You must add Rosalind's age to the time I entered their house, and then multiply the answer by the number of minutes I interrogated Rosalind. The answer will open door number 2.
I don't remember you saying you entered their house, to be honest with you. I must have missed that part. I put it on the wrong area.
At 10 p.m., with the
10
neighborhood
p.m.
covered in
I missed
darkness,
that.
I entered the first house on the cul-de-sac.
So 32 plus 10. Which door? Sorry.
You must add Rosalind's age to the time I entered their house,
Number
and then
2.
multiply the...
Okay, we're done with you, bud. Alright, let's see. Where's my calculator? 32 plus 10 times 53 equals 2226. Nice. Brandy Hubbard, that's her address on our house.
Poor little Rosalind. In between her
Didn't you already
screams,
kill her, bro?
she told me the
Oh.
next house over was the Hughes house. An older couple, Deborah 52 and Donald 56, lived there. But their son Dylan, aged 26, was visiting. They might be a problem if Dylan decided to intervene. He
Scared?
needed to be disposed of. So I entered the Hughes house at 11 p.m. The door was locked, but I was able to pick it in 47 seconds. I entered the house and found Dylan Hughes asleep on the couch in the living room with the television on. I grabbed a knife from the kitchen, approached him from behind, and cut his throat. I continued down the hall to the master bedroom and found Deborah and Donald sleeping. I could have killed them silently and quickly, but I wanted to see them struggle. I wanted to see the fear in their eyes.
Loser. Gotcha.
I had a choice. Who to go for first? Donald is the male and stronger foe, but then Deborah would most likely scream and run. Her screaming would alert the neighborhood, and I would need to chase her. Whereas, if I went for Deborah first, I could duct tape her mouth, and Donald would come to me instead of running. I chose Deborah. 138 seconds later, they were both hanging in their hallway. Alright, Special Agent. I want you to start with the number of seconds it took me to hang both Deborah and Donald Hughes from the ceiling. Then add the number of seconds it took me to pick the lock on their door. Then multiply this by their son Dylan's age. The answer will open door number 3.
It is kind of fun writing down the key information and stuff like that, but I don't feel like... I feel like it would have been a lot nicer if the game kind of implemented it some way by like letting you write down notes as you did it, like in game, like giving you a place to type or something. If you, or at least make a window mode so I can do that, because I feel like this is making the game a lot easier for me, anyways. Where the hell is door number 3? There it is. Dang, I got lost looking for door number 3. Great tune. It's the page, yes. Okay.
I walked around the house. The Hanson kids, Kyle and Christopher, were gone. I only found Brittany Hanson, aged 44, asleep in the master bedroom. 18 seconds later, I had her bound and gagged. She was coming back with me to my dungeon for some playtime. The next house was the Hansons. It was 12 o'clock at night when I entered the Hansons' house. Just like the Hughes house, I saw David Hanson, age 46, asleep in front of the television. I grabbed him, stripped him, and duct taped him to a chair. I would come back once I finished with the rest of the house. I returned to David Hanson. I ripped the duct tape off his mouth and asked him about the children. He spit in my face.
Let's go, David.
And said never.
Let's go,
How very
David.
noble. So I started to cut off his penis,
Crap, dude.
and then
I
I went
hate
to
you
all
so
his
much.
fingers. At around that time, he told me they were across the street.
I doubt it. After you already cut off his junk, I doubt it, dude. After that, I'm done, dude. It's
I
over.
want you, Special Agent, to start with the time I entered the house. Then multiply by Brittany Hanson's age. Then multiply again by the number of seconds it took me to bound and gag Brittany. The answer will open the final door.
Yeah, there's no way somebody's going to let you go through all that and then give you that information. There's 0% chance, bro. Cut off his junk and then you got the information? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it, bro. That's unrealistic. My immersion is ruined.
As David Hanson whimpered and cried in pain, he told me his children were next door at a sleepover with the neighbor kids. You know what happened next, don't you, Special Agent? Amelia did not please me. She needed to be punished, and 53 minutes later, she was dead.
Rick's Amelia.
I want you to start by adding
have
Kyle
that yet.
Anderson's age with Terry Anderson's age. Then multiply by Jason Anderson's age. The answer will be variable A. Or is that too hard for you?
Well, idiot, you haven't given me that information yet because I probably went the wrong way, I'm guessing. You have 1 week till what?
Upstairs, I found Jason Anderson, age 39, and Amelia Anderson, 36, asleep in their master bedroom. Amelia was beautiful. Long, dirty brown hair, a tight nightgown that hugged her figure. 17 seconds later, the kitchen knife was lodged in Jason's throat, and I was duct taping Amelia.
Wait till what?
I entered the Nelson's house at 1 a.m. There were 4 children asleep in tiny sleeping bags. I saw Kyle Hansen, age 12, and Christopher Hansen, age 13,
Not Chris
along with
Hansen.
Drake Anderson, age 12, and Terry Anderson, age 13. They looked so soft and so fragile, like little eggs. And you know what happens if you tap an egg too hard, Special Agent? The shell breaks.
Chris Hansen, bro. Oh, I was just thinking of the frickin' Boondocks. Chris Hansen.
I want you to start by adding Kyle Anderson's age with Terry Anderson's age. Then multiply by Jason Anderson's age. The answer will be variable A. Or is that too hard for you, Special Agent?
I don't think so.
Everyone on the Margot Lane cul-de-sac is dead. Everyone except Brittany Hansen. That is, if you can enter the correct code into the keypad. The code to open the crate is variable A plus variable B. Think carefully, Special Agent. You don't want to make a mistake. Start with the number of minutes Amelia survived after I woke her up, then add the age of Drake Anderson. Finally, multiply by the number of kids at the sleepover. The answer is variable B. Start with the number of minutes Amelia survived after I woke her up, then add the age of Drake Anderson. Finally, multiply by the number of kids at the sleepover. The answer is variable.
Not like all those kids had like the same age, which kind of makes sense since it's a sleepover. They're probably all around the same age, so maybe. I hope it's right. $60. I feel like this is a really low number. I feel like he's gonna tell me I'm wrong and I'm gonna be real mad. I hope it's right. Thank God.
Alright everyone, let's get this post-operation briefing started. I first want to congratulate our agent that went inside this facility. Your critical thinking and precision is what got Brittany Hansen out alive.
Somebody been drawing on my
Outstanding
notebook.
work. That is exactly what I like to see. Now for the bad news, everyone. This was a rough one. There have been 2 significant changes to the killer's operations. This is the first week he is murdering children and using them in his puzzles. In week 1 with Bethany Morgan, he captured her son and placed him in the crate, and although he was in grave danger, the killer still gave us the opportunity to recover him safely. This time, he abducted and murdered not just 1, but 4 adolescents. That also leads us to the next major change, and that is the kill count. Week 1, there were 6 victims. Last week, there was 7. Now this week, there was 12. Why the jump in the kill count? Was it planned? Was it unexpected? I want the behavioral analysis unit jumping headfirst into this issue. Can we expect further escalation, and if so, will it be planned or due to unraveling control of the suspect's situation? Finally, I want the Task Force Public Relations team to hold a press conference and provide the public with what we know. And also to ask any individuals with any information to come forward. We could use all the help we can get. Alright everybody, let's get back to work. If this killer's MO is consistent, we have 1 week to hunt him down. Let's get this guy before he strikes again.
We in fact did not get this guy.
Special Agent. It is week 4, and the task force has received another communication from the math problem killer. In this communication, he indicates that he is holding a young woman named Joanna Davis at 789 Elmwood Lane. He also indicates that we can send 1 agent inside to attempt a rescue. Since you've been so successful in your last 3 operations, I've decided to send you. Now, 789 Elmwood Lane is an abandoned construction site similar to the previous 3 facilities. You can also expect to find traps on each of the doors. Remember, the suspect is not letting you inside out of the kindness of his heart. He wants you to fail one of his problems, because if you do, the hostage dies. With that being said, do not succumb to haste or recklessness. Rash decisions will not only jeopardize your safety, but also the successful outcome of this operation. Your ability to remain calm, rational, and focused will be your greatest asset. Now get inside that facility and bring Joanna Davis out alive.
So he's wrong. If he wanted me to go in here to fail a math problem so I could kill the person, he could have just killed them himself like he did everybody else. He wants acknowledgement because he's got a little peewee.
I watched your press conference. It only took 3 weeks before your pathetic task force gave up and had to ask for help from the public. Well, I think I need to give the city my own press conference. Your press conference asked for people to come forward with information about me. Mine will show them what will happen if they do. But instead of your pathetic, hollow words, I will choose action. Instead of killing 1 family this week, I will butcher 4.
Didn't you butcher 4 last week in the cul-de-sac, you freaking moron? Jesus, this guy's an idiot.
I followed the Townsends home. It took us 36 minutes. After they went inside, I positioned myself near a window. I was so close. I could hear them. There was a 3rd Townsend in the house, Benjamin's brother, Glenn, aged 46. After 47 minutes of watching and listening, Carol and Benjamin went upstairs. That left Glenn alone. It was time for action.
Weird one, because it had all those people that I haven't even heard of yet. I go to this one first, like, I don't know what his order is with putting these stupid boxes everywhere.
The front door was locked, but the window was not. In a matter of seconds, I was inside the house and behind Glenn. I wrapped a wire around his neck and I pulled. And I pulled. He was dead in 16 seconds. I then went upstairs. It took me another 47 seconds to subdue Benjamin and Carol, then duct tape them to chairs and begin to play with my knives. It was messy work.
How many seconds did you say? 47?
The front door was locked. I went to Pierre's Bar and Grill on 74th Street for 4 days in a row. Each night I chose someone, and I followed them home. On the first night, I saw Carol Townsend, age 37, and her husband, Benjamin Townsend, age 43. They were young. They were attractive. They were going to die. I hope your press conference was worth it.
Yeah, I guess it was, probably.
This is Brady Myers, age 39. He walked in on me while I was playing with Carol and Benjamin. With tears in their eyes and muffled screams behind the duct tape on their mouths, the Townsends begged Brady to help them. But the moment Brady saw what was happening, he froze, stammered, and then tried to run away. But he wasn't fast enough. I tied him to a chair down the hall from Carol and Benjamin, and I made him listen for the next 7 hours. After the Townsends were dead, I slit Brady's throat.
She was a little bit more linear with his placement.
I want you to start with Brady Myers' age, then multiply by the number of hours I used my knives on the Townsends. I want you to next add Carol Townsend's age, then multiply the number of seconds it took me to kill Glenn Townsend after I wrapped the wire around his neck. The answer will open door number 1
Say it again, bro.
and get you 1 room closer to Joanna Davis. Unless of course you make a mistake, Special Agent. Then Joanna burns. I want you to start with Brady Myers' age, then multiply by the number of hours I used my knives on the Townsends. I want you to next add Carol Townsend's age, then multiply the number of seconds.
Okay. I got 39, I believe. 7 plus, I think it was plus 37, I believe. I hope it was plus 37. Plus, god dang it.
I want you to start.
Stupid handwriting, bro. Times 16. 4960 apparently, hopefully. Nice. Okay.
Did you like that, Special Agent? Did you like my press conference about the Townsends? How I made Brady Myers listen for 7 hours while I used my knives on Carol and Benjamin? I do enjoy an audience. Well, unlike your press conference, Special Agent, mine is not over. On the second night, I went to the same restaurant on 74th Street, and I sat at the same bar. It was 8 p.m. I looked for my next playthings. I found the Jacksons.
Jackson, woo, I am for
After
real.
dealing with Lucas, I crept down the hallway and found David Jackson. He was 21 years old. He was asleep in the guest bedroom. He was big, and he was strong, and he would be a serious problem if he woke up. I slashed his throat with a knife from the kitchen. He died in 23 seconds. After dealing with Lucas,
Sorry, I wasn't trying to click that one.
this is Lucas Jackson. He was 19. As I entered the Jackson house, I saw him playing video games on the couch with a headset on. He did not want to disturb his family, but he also could not hear me approach from behind. I shoved a kitchen knife into his throat. It took him 17 seconds to die. He was the first. He would not be the last. The Jacksons were a beautiful
So
family
mixed up
of 4.
on radios.
They would make a perfect press conference for the city. A perfect example of what would happen if a family came forward with information about me. When the Jacksons finished dinner, I followed them home. We arrived at their house at 9 p.m. I waited for everyone to go to bed. I waited for them to turn off the lights. 2 hours later, I entered the house.
That might be important that he entered 2 hours later. Might have to add that and get 11, depending on how he asked it.
You dumb, stupid little task force agent. Do you see what happens when you do a press conference? When you ask the community for help to catch me? I strike back at the community. The Jacksons would still be alive if you did not have that press conference, Special Agent.
Actually, you did
Think
it.
about that.
You did it.
Now think about this. You must start with David Jackson's age, then add Tony Jackson's age. Then multiply by the number of seconds it took Lucas Jackson to die. The answer will be variable A.
I don't know Tony's age yet.
Like I said earlier, Special Agent, I enjoy an audience. This is Amanda Jackson. She's 49. I made her listen. Now I want you to listen. I want you to start with the number of nails I hammered into Tony Jackson. Then multiply that by the number of seconds it took Lucas to die after I slashed his throat. You will then add variable A. The answer will open. This is Tony Jackson. He was 52. He heard me tackle Amanda to the ground. He came running and saw me duct taping her. He charged me. I quickly pulled out a taser pistol and shot him. He woke up hanging by his hands in the garage. I started asking him math questions. If he got one wrong, I would hammer a nail into his body. I hammered 138 nails into Tony Jackson's body. The body gets messy after 138 nails. Special Agent. Real messy.
138 math questions, bro. Freaking toxic.
You dumb, stupid little task force agent. Do you see what happens when you do a press conference? When you ask the community for help to catch me? I strike back at the community. The Jacksons would still be alive if you do not have that press conference, Special Agent. Think about that. Now think about this. You must start with David Jackson's age, then add Tony Jackson's age. Then multiply by the number of seconds it took Lucas Jackson to die. The answer will be variable A.
21 plus 52 times 17 or 41.
Like I said earlier, Special Agent, I enjoy an audience. This is Amanda Jackson. She's 49. I made her listen. Now I want you to listen. I want you to start with the number of nails I hammered into Tony Jackson. Then multiply that by the number of seconds it took Lucas to die after I slashed his throat. You will then add variable A. The answer.
Are you sure, Lucas?
Number 2.
You sure, Lucas? Because the first time, did you say David on the other one? Or did you say Lucas twice?
Like I said earlier, Special Agent.
Wait a second, did you say...
You dumb, stupid little task force agent.
I hate this guy.
Do you see what happens when you do a press conference? When you ask the community for help to catch me? I strike back at the community. The Jacksons would still be alive if you do not have that press conference, Special Agent. Think about that. Now think about this. You must start with David Jackson's age, then add Tony Jackson's age.
Yeah, that's the same. Lucas,
Then
if he
multiply
tells
by
me
the
I'm
number of
wrong, I'm gonna
seconds
slap the hell out
it
of
took
him.
Lucas Jackson to die. The answer.
I'm gonna look at it one more time.
Like I said earlier, Special Agent, I enjoy an audience. This
I
is
guess
Amanda
Lucas to
Jackson.
die, yeah, okay. Well, I used Lucas twice, so if it's wrong, that's on him. That's on him. Unless I messed something else up, obviously, but... Plus 50 times 17. Plus... What was the other one? Oh, they're both 1241. Wait, no, I'm an idiot. 2346. 2346, my gosh. 3587. Better not tell me I'm wrong. Okay, thank God. He did that on purpose. Or you want me to start first? I'm gonna start on this one.
On the third night, I walked into the restaurant at 74th Street, sat at the bar, and began my hunt again. After 26 minutes, I found my next meal. The Rogers. They were a beautiful family of 4, just like the Jacksons. I followed them home. It took us 52 minutes. Instead of killing each family member individually, I wanted a group activity. I wanted everyone to see each other, to be close to each other when it all happened. Once we returned to their house, I went inside. I went room by room, taking my time. And one by one, I bound and I gagged each member of the Roger family. I tied their arms, covered their mouths, tied their legs in duct tape. This is Jason Rogers. He was 51, and he was the father. When the other 3 were in a circle, I slit open Jason Rogers' throat. It took him 29 seconds to die. The playtime had begun. This is Paula Rogers. She was 23 years old. Paula was a very bad girl. She was able to get free from her chair after I killed Jason. She grabbed a kitchen knife and charged me. I grabbed a nearby chair and I threw it at her. She halted and shielded herself from the chair. In that time, I was able to charge her and put her on the ground. As a punishment, I hung her by her hands in front of the other 2 Rogers, Laura and Peter. And then I began asking each one of them a math question. If they got it right, I went to the next person. If they got it wrong, I hammered a nail into Paula. I hammered 47 nails into Paula before she died. Isn't this wonderful, Special Agent?
Not particularly.
I have butchered 3 families, and I haven't even told you how I found Joanna Davis, who was locked inside the crate at the end of this facility. Well, if you want to find out about Joanna, you must start with the number of nails I hammered into Paula, then multiply by the number of seconds it took Jason Rogers to die. Then add Peter Rogers' age. Then add the number of minutes it took me to find the Rogers at the restaurant. You will finally add variable A. The answer will open door number 3.
26 minutes to find him at the restaurant.
This is Laura Rogers. She was 46. She is the mother. I killed her last special agent. She was alone with me for 4 hours. 4 hours. When it was over, I put her out of her misery. Now let me give you a little misery. I want you to start with Laura's age, then multiply by her husband Jason Rogers' age. The answer will be variable A.
When did we get variable? Okay. I thought the other one didn't have variables. I thought it was just gonna give me the answer.
This is Peter Rogers. He was 19 years old. He was the second last to die. After Paula was dead, I asked him a math question. He spit in my face, so I cut off his tongue. Then I cut off his fingers, and then I cut off his nose, and then I cut open his stomach and pulled out his intestines. No one spits in my face, Special Agent. No one.
I'm gonna piss on your dead body. How's that gonna make you feel?
Isn't this wonderful, Special Agent? I have butchered 3 families, and I haven't even told you how I found Joanna Davis, who was locked inside the crate at the end of this facility. Well, if you want to find out about Joanna, You must start with the number of nails I hammered into Paula, then multiply by the number of seconds it took Jason Rogers to die. Then add Peter Rogers' age. Then add the number of minutes it took me to find the Rogers at the restaurant.
I was supposed to add those numbers? Oh,
And
yeah,
finally,
okay, yeah, I got
add
you.
variable A. The answer will open door number 3.
Okay. I got this. Probably. I hope. 7, 29 plus 15 plus 26. Oh, it's room 1408. What are the chances? Probably high. 46 times 51. 754, I hope. I hope. Or this just gets longer and longer, bro. I gotta write more and more notes. Jesus Christ. Oh, what a loser.
On the 4th night, I arrived at the university on 74th Street. I was there for 22 minutes, and then I saw her. I saw Joanna Davis. She was 26 years old. She was a part-time waitress and a full-time student at the local state university. I had gone to the restaurant to find another family, but the moment I saw Joanna, I knew she had to be mine. I watched her for 2 hours. And then I left and I waited in my car until the end of her shift. She left the restaurant at 10 p.m. She had changed her clothing. She wore a short skirt with black leggings underneath and high heels. She was beautiful, and she was going to be mine. I began to follow her. We walked for 3 blocks. She went into the bar on 77th Street. I watched her for 2 hours at the bar. She was going to be mine. After 2 hours at the bar, she took a ride share back to her apartment. It took her 37 minutes to reach her apartment complex. She was nearly drunk and stumbled to get to the door. It was almost too easy. I got out of my car, approached her from behind, and I grabbed her. 46 minutes later, she was at my dungeon. I want you to start with Joanna's age and add the number of minutes I was at the restaurant before I saw Joanna. Then multiply the street number of the bar she went to after work. Your answer will be variable A. You must start with the number of minutes it took me to take Joanna back to my dungeon after I abducted her. Then add the number of minutes it took me to reach her apartment from the bar. Then multiply this number by the number of hours I watched her at the bar. The answer will be variable B.
I think I got that. It's 22. 77. 6. 2. Right, 3862.
You finally reached the final door, Special Agent. Beyond this door is Joanna Davis. The lovely, sweet Joanna Davis. And all you have to do is enter the correct code into the door. You can do that, right, Special Agent?
Yeah, I've done it
Because
before.
if you don't, Joanna will burn.
I hope there's like a super cool boss fight at the end where I kill the hell out of this dude, like very, very graphically. Like, I want to have some very graphic demise for this fool. Not only for what he's done, but for putting me through this every week. It's just, I deserve that, I feel like. I'm still here.
Did you like my press
Not really.
conferences, Special Agent? Have you learned your lesson? Or are you going to hold more press conferences? This dungeon is a museum to the consequences of your task force's actions. If not for you, the Jackson family would be alive. If not for you, the Townsends would be alive. If not for you, the Rogers would still be alive. You challenged my work, and so I butchered people. And if you keep challenging my work, I will continue to butcher and murder and slaughter. Do you understand that, Special Agent? And don't forget how you murdered the Jacksons. I want you to start with the number of nails I hammered into Tony Jackson's body. Then add that by the age of Amanda Jackson. And then multiply that by the number of seconds it took Lucas Jackson to die after I slit his throat with the kitchen knife. The answer will be variable B.
Lucas? Lucas again? Nobody, he
Don't
does not
forget
care about
how you
David at all.
murdered the Jacksons. I want you to start with the number of nails I hammered
Yeah,
into
ask me
Tony
about David
Jackson's
once.
body. Then add that by the age of Amanda Jackson. And then multiply. The blood of the Rogers family is on your task force's hands, Special Agent. I want you to start with the number of seconds it took Jason Rogers to die after I slit his throat. Then multiply that by the number of hours I was alone with Laura Rogers. Then add the number of nails I hammered into Paula Rogers. Then add Peter Rogers' age. The answer will be variable C.
Trying to find the nails.
The blood of the Rogers family is on your task force's hands, Special Agent. I want you to start with the number of seconds it took Jason Rogers to
47
die
hours.
after I slit his throat. Then multiply that by the number of hours I was alone with Laura Rogers. Then add the number of nails I hammered into Paula Rogers.
He's
Then add
2019.
Peter Rogers' age. The answer will be variable C. The pretty Joanna Davis is locked inside that metal crate, Special Agent. If you want to unlock it, you must add variable
That's a
A
new face.
to variable B, and then add variable C. If you enter the wrong code into the keypad, Joanna Davis is going to burn alive. And it will be all your fault. Think carefully, Special Agent. Your mistakes have consequences.
I am a gent, actually. Quite the gent.
Let's not forget how you murdered the Townsends. I want you to start with Carol Townsend's age. Then add the number of seconds it took me to subdue Benjamin and Carol Townsend. Then multiply by the number of seconds it took Glenn Townsend to die when I wrapped the wire around his neck. The answer will be variable A. Let's not forget how you murdered the Townsends. I want you to start with Carol Townsend's age. Then add the number of seconds it took me to subdue Benjamin and Carol Townsend. Then multiply by the number of seconds it took Glenn Townsend to die when I wrapped the wire around his neck. The answer will be variable A.
Yes, I got that.
Let's not forget how you murdered the Townsends.
Oh, Benjamin wrong. I already said it wrong, I guess, since it's supposed to be what he's saying. Oh, he's not a smart man. Longer and longer. I'm 16. Okay. 9, 4, 7 plus 18 plus 182, I guess. Hope. 8, 9 times. Plus 179, right? 705.
Alright, everyone. Let's get this meeting started. I want to first congratulate the special agent that entered this facility and recovered Joanna Davis alive. Outstanding job, Special Agent. But now it's time for the bad news. As you all know, last week we held a press conference asking the community to come forward with any information they may have about the math problem killer. In response to that press conference, our killer went to a restaurant and butchered 4 families. Make no mistake, people, every decision we make has serious consequences. I have agents interviewing employees at Pierre's, and the Task Force Digital Forensics Unit is going through the restaurant's surveillance footage. So far, no employee remembers anyone of note at 7 p.m. Additionally, there is no financial record of Townsend, Jackson, or Davis paying for food at Pierre's. That is not to say that the killer's story was untrue. Our task force crime scene investigators informed me that there is a significant amount of human remains throughout the facility. Their early estimates suggest at least enough for 4 families, so it is entirely possible that the story he told our agent was true, he just changed the names and the locations. Alright, everyone. This is the end of week 4, and if the killer's pattern is consistent, we can expect more victims next week. So let's get to work and catch this guy before that happens. That is all. Let's get hunting.
These math problems better not get any longer, bro. There's too many. Too many people and too many. I'm having
Special
to write
Agent,
pages of.
It is week 5, and the task force has received another communication from the math problem killer. It has only been a few days since the restaurant killings, and he already has more victims. This is too fast. It doesn't make any sense. According to the communication, he is holding a young woman named Evelyn Martin at an abandoned construction site at 2101 Chestnut Boulevard. The suspect says we can send 1 agent, and only 1 agent inside to attempt a rescue. That means you are going in again. As you know, this suspect has a thing for math. He is going to tell you disturbing stories, then give you math problems based on those stories. It does not matter if his stories are true. What matters is that you get the answer right. He might be a murdering sociopath, but his modus operandi is clear. If you get the math right, he will let you pass and let the hostages go free. So get the math right and get Evelyn Martin out alive. Good luck.
You know, Special Agent, I was going to go easy
I
this
would
week.
appreciate that.
Give you and the task force a little break. I was only going to play with 1 person. I was going to take my time. I was going to make it hurt. I thought that was going to be Sienna. But then one thing led to another, and I feasted on the whole Martin family. They were delicious. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Why don't you start with Sienna's age and then multiply it by the street of the parade? Then multiply the answer by the time of the parade. Your final answer will be variable A. I want you to multiply the time I first saw Sienna by the number of 7. Hello there, Special Agent. This is Sienna Harrison, age 33. I saw her at the 6th Street Parade at 11 a.m. She was alone. 3 hours later, I followed her into the parking garage. She parked on the 4th floor. As she was unlocking her car door, I approached from behind and slammed her face into the window, disorienting her. In the next 38 seconds, I had her bound and gagged and stuffed in her trunk. I then drove casually back to my dungeon in her car. When she woke up, her nightmare began. Pretty girls, pretty floats. Oh, how I do so love a parade. Don't you, Special Agent? Oh, I almost forgot. I have Evelyn Martin somewhere in this dungeon. If you want to reach her, you need to get past door number 1. The code for door number 1 is simple. You must add variable A to variable B. Even a pathetic little task force special agent like you can solve that one. Can't you? You know, Special Agent, I was going to go easy this week.
I know.
Give you and the task force a little break. I was only going to play with one person. I was going to take my time. I was going to make it hurt. I thought that was going to be Sienna. But then one thing led to another, and I feasted on the whole Martin family. They were delicious. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Why don't you start with Sienna's age and then multiply it by the street of the parade? Then multiply the answer by the time of the parade. Your final answer will be variable A.
Oh shoot, I zoned out at the end. God dang it, dude. My bad.
You know, Special Agent,
Zoned out because he
I was
talks so
going to go
much.
easy this week.
Sorry. God dang
Give
it,
you and
dude.
the
I
task
really did.
force a little break. I was only going to play with one person. I was going to take my time. I was going to make it hurt. I thought that was going to be Sienna. But then one thing led to another, and I feasted on the whole Martin family.
33.
They were delicious.
6.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. Why don't you
That's about the
start
time of the
with
parade.
Sienna's age and then multiply it by the street of the parade? Then multiply the answer by the time of the parade. Your final answer will be variable A. I want you to multiply the time I first saw Sienna by the number of seconds it took me to bound and gag her and place her in her trunk. Then multiply this number by the floor that she parked on. The answer will be variable B.
They say I'm very confused. Wait a second.
I want you
It's hard,
to
11
multiply
a.m.,
the
right?
time I first saw Sienna by the number of seconds it took me to bound and gag her and place her in her trunk. Then multiply this number by the floor that she parked on. The answer will be variable B.
Try it, see what happens. I feel like it would be 11. I don't know, we'll see. This one might be wrong. Because I'm kind of confused a little bit. I hope it's right, but I feel like it's gonna be wrong. I don't know. 5-0. Okay, sick. I hate when he reuses numbers for both variables. I hate that, actually. Okay. This one's for...
As Sienna mumbled and whimpered and pissed herself while strapped to the chair, I scrolled through her phone. I looked through her pictures, and that's when I saw her. Evelyn Martin. I made Sienna tell me where Evelyn lived, and then I disposed of my little toy. I watched Evelyn's house for 45 minutes. She is 28 and married to Thomas Martin, aged 36. Thomas's brother Patrick, age 41, was there. If I was to have some playtime with Evelyn, both Thomas and Patrick needed to go. Patrick left after 45 minutes, and I decided to follow him. We drove for 47 minutes and finally arrived at his house at 9876 Tomato Road. There was another older man there, Stephen Harlett, age 39. The two laughed about how their families were gone for the day, and they brought beer and tequila. I waited, and 2 hours later, when the alcohol had taken effect, I attacked. You must start with Patrick's age, and then multiply it by Evelyn's age. Then add Stephen's age. Then add the number of minutes it took us to reach Patrick's house. The answer will open door number 2.
Wait, reach Patrick's house? Was he going back to his house?
Patrick left after 45
minutes.
minutes, and I decided to follow him. We drove for 47. You must start with Patrick's age, and then multiply it by Evelyn's age. Then add Stephen's age. Then add the number of minutes it took us to reach Patrick. The answer will open door number 2.
That was a short one, actually. I guess. $41 times 20, 39 plus 40. 34. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. That seems kind of sus. Yeah, I guess it was. Looking at. Complicated. Talk to the one that's waving first. He's always first.
It took 53 seconds before Stephen Harlett turned on Patrick. He quickly told me the names of Stephen's wife and 2 children. He told me their ages. He told me their schedules. After squealing, Stephen turned to his best friend Patrick, tears in his eyes, and kept saying, "I'm sorry. I don't want to die. I'm sorry. I don't want to die."
Always works.
I stripped them naked, tied them each to a chair, and had them face each other. I showed them my nails and my knives. I told them the first one who told me where the other's family was would get to live. I want you to start with the number of seconds it took Stephen to turn on his friend. Then multiply by the number of feet Patrick was away from Stephen. Then multiply by the total number of wife and children Patrick had. The answer is variable X. I made Stephen listen to the screams of his best friend Patrick as I played with Patrick's family. When I was done, I hung Patrick's family above him. He kept screaming, "I will kill you, I will kill you." But here's the best part, Special Agent. Patrick was not screaming at me. He was screaming at Stephen. After I finally killed Patrick, I walked back over to Stephen. He was 10 feet away, still naked and tied to the same chair. I asked him a simple math question. He got it wrong, so I cut open his stomach and pulled his intestines out. Mistakes have consequences, Special Agent.
I guess it's 3. Wow.
It took 53 seconds before Stephen Harlett turned on Pat. I want you to start with the number of seconds it took Stephen to turn on his friend. Then multiply by the number of feet Patrick was away from Stephen. Then multiply by the total number of wife and children Patrick had. The answer is variable X.
Okay, what am I supposed to do with variable x, yo? Boy, so much.
It took me 86 minutes to reach Evelyn's house at 3425 Tiger Road. It was a pretty home with a backyard and a peaceful neighborhood. The time was 6 p.m. I got out of my car and I approached the house. I left after 45 minutes to follow Patrick Martin. I returned the next day to finish my work with Evelyn. I walked up to the window and I looked inside. It was 2 p.m. I saw Evelyn. She was wearing tight blue jeans and a tight polka-dotted buttoned shirt that hugged her torso. She looked delicious. I crawled through the window and approached her from behind. In the next 28 seconds, I grabbed her mouth, slammed her on the ground, and duct taped her mouth and hands and legs. Start with Evelyn's age, then multiply by the amount of time it took me to bound and gag Evelyn, then add the last 2 digits of Evelyn's address. The answer will be variable A.
Address says.
It took me 86 minutes to reach Evelyn's house at 3425 Tiger Road. Start with Evelyn's age, then multiply by the amount of time it took me to bound and gag Evelyn, then add the last 2 digits of Evelyn's address. The answer? I walked up to the window and I looked inside. It was 2 p.m. I saw Evelyn. She was wearing tight blue jeans and a tight polka-dotted buttoned shirt that hugged her torso. I left the bound and gagged Evelyn in the kitchen and went looking for Thomas. I saw him in the backyard, bent over, digging in the dirt, like a dog. I grabbed a nearby softball bat.
Gardening, bro.
I approached Thomas from behind and swung as hard as I could toward his head. It made a most satisfying thud when his skull imploded.
Like a freaking weenie.
Start with Thomas's age, and then multiply by the number of minutes it took me to reach Evelyn's house on the first day. Then divide by what time it was when I walked up to the window and looked inside Evelyn's house. The answer will be variable B. With Evelyn bound and gagged, and Thomas a piece of meat, I looked around the house and found a picture of Evelyn's younger sister. She was lovely. After a few more minutes of looking around, I found the address to her parents' house. I knew where my next stop was going to be. And if you want to find out what I did when I got there, you have to add variable A to variable B. The answer will open door number 3. Or is that too hard for you, Special Agent?
Okay. 36 times 80 divided by 2. You have no idea how tempted I am just to get to the end of the game. Like, skip to the final level and just win. Because this is getting old, honestly. Getting extremely old, for me anyways. My attention span is very dwindling, and that actually is saying quite a bit. Usually I can stay focused on games, but this one's not doing me any favors, I don't feel like. It's very redundant. Very, very redundant.
I want you to start with the
I don't
number
even know,
of nails
dude. I
showed.
don't even know. I didn't talk to the right one, obviously.
I arrived at Evelyn's parents' house at 9 p.m. I snuck up and crouched near a window. I looked inside and I saw Evelyn Martin's younger sister, Ariel. She was having a slumber party with 4 other girls. Annie, age 14, Harriet, aged 15, Aaliyah, age 14, and Melody, age 15.
That's too fast. I hate you.
I arrived at Evelyn's parents' house at 9 p.m. I snuck up and crouched near a window.
I love how he talks slow as
I looked
crap
inside
when he's like
and I
saying
saw Evelyn
unimportant
Martin's
things, and then
younger
when it's
sister,
something
Ariel.
where you need the numbers, he
She was
like
having a
speeds
slumber
up.
party with 4 other
So
girls.
stupid. I hate
Annie,
you so
age
much.
14.
Oh man, I hope they give me like a torture scene with this guy.
I watched them for 18 minutes. They laughed and danced. 5 young girls in their pajamas. It was the perfect moment to strike. And an hour later, they were all butchered, hanging upside down in the living room.
Man, I really wish. He didn't even tell me how old Ariel was.
I want you to start with the number of minutes. You must add Angela and Antonio's ages. Now listen up, you stupid, pathetic task force agent. If you want to find variable Y, you must add...
Killing will never stop, apparently.
Say hello to Evelyn's parents, Angela, age 53, and Antonio, age 57. They were upstairs in the master bedroom while the girls were downstairs. When they heard screaming, they both ran downstairs. I grabbed one of the girls' softball bats and smashed Antonio's skull into a pile of goo. Angela screamed. I approached her and took my time. 3 hours, Special Agent. 3 hours.
Still missing the time for Ariel.
Evelyn's sister, Ariel, was the only one that fought back that night. While the other girls screamed like goats, Ariel grabbed a softball bat and swung as hard as she could. Her fighting spirit was admirable. She earned a chance at survival, so I asked her a math question. I told her if she got it right, she
I'd
could go
ask her
free.
another one. Oh,
But
wow.
if she got it
First
wrong,
one.
she would be punished. She answered incorrectly, so I shoved 18 nails through her torso and hung her in front of the other girls.
Okay.
I want you to start with the number of nails I shoved into Ariel, then multiply this by the time I arrived at Evelyn's parents' house. Then multiply by Annie's age. Your answer will be variable A. I want you to start with the number of minutes I watched the girls, then multiply this by Aaliyah's age. The answer will be variable B.
Wait, is that?
I want you to start with the number. You must add Angela and Antonio's ages, then multiply by the number of hours I spent with Angela. The answer will be variable C.
Okay, tell me whatever stupid thing you're gonna say.
Now listen up, you stupid, pathetic task force agent. If you want to find variable Y, you must add variable A to variable B, and then add variable C. Or is that too advanced for you? Why don't you just make a mistake and enter the wrong code into the keypad and kill Evelyn Martin?
You know what really pissed me off is if he got into like actual hard math towards the end. Like he was actually he does all these easy word problems at the start where you just need a calculator. And then at the end he like did actual hard math where you actually need to understand math to pass. Oh, I'd be pissed, bro. I would be so mad. Really. 2268 plus 52, I guess. Looks like to me, my handwriting. What the hell is the last thing I wrote down? Looks like 330, but I'm not sure. Let me do that one more. Oh yeah, 330. Okay. Two. Zero plus what was variable x again? $290, if I can read my handwriting correctly, I guess. $4440, I guess. I think I would probably actually not recommend this game. Very redundant. Mechanics pretty simple. And yeah, I don't know. It takes something crazy for me to enjoy this.
If you want to open this door, you must add variable x plus variable y, and then enter your answer into the keypad. Let's see how smart you really are, Special Agent. My guess is not very.
Like, I think the aesthetic's actually pretty neat. I just wish the gameplay was better and, like, it wasn't so redundant. Because I'm kind of losing my mind from being bored a little bit. Very hard game to get through.
You made it to the final room. Apparently you're not so stupid. But don't celebrate just yet, Special Agent. You still have an opportunity to make a mistake and kill Evelyn Martin. So let's begin.
Okay.
You must start with Evelyn's brother, Patrick Martin's age. Then multiply that by the number of seconds it took Stephen to turn on Patrick. The answer will be variable B.
41. What's the thing? What am I multiplying it by?
You must start with Evelyn's brother, Patrick Martin's age. Then multiply that by the number of seconds it took Stephen to turn on Patrick. The answer will be variable B.
B. I guess that's a B. Looks kind of like a B, I guess.
Let's start with Evelyn's age, then add Thomas's age, then multiply by the number of seconds it took me to bound and gag Evelyn. The answer will be variable C.
I'm gonna gag Evelyn, you said?
Let's start with Evelyn's age, then add Thomas's age, then multiply by the number of seconds it took me to bound and gag Evelyn. The answer will be variable C.
28 seconds? Was it 28 seconds, I hope? Seconds. See these nuts. Is this one? I don't think I've talked to this yet.
You must add variable A to variable B, and then subtract variable C. Enter your answer into the keypad on the crate. If your answer is correct, Evelyn Martin gets to go home. Although I did just kill everyone she loved and cared about, so the house may be a little quiet when she gets home. That is, assuming you don't make a mistake and burn her alive.
Okay.
I want you to start with the number of nails in Evelyn's sister, Ariel, and then add Evelyn's mother's age, and then multiply by the time I got to Evelyn's parents' house. The answer will be variable A.
I guess I got that. Okay. 15 plus. Hoping I didn't take like very detailed notes because I gotta write it down, but close. B was 41 times 53. Two, 3, subtract 28 plus 36. 20, 1792. Yeah, I don't know if I'm got this one right or not. I hope so, though. Because some of those things that I got the numbers from, like I said, weren't very detailed, so I don't know if it's the right thing or not, but I hope so. 20. Hopefully 1020. Good luck, girl. I'll have to do it again if it didn't, but nailed it, I'm guessing.
Alright everyone, listen up. To begin with, I want to congratulate the special agent that entered this facility and safely recovered Evelyn Martin. That is outstanding work, Special Agent. But like this message on the wall says, Evelyn Martin will not be the last one, so we need to stay focused.
You guys did your job,
Okay,
should it be?
next. The Task Force Behavioral Analysis Unit has been developing a preliminary profile of the suspect to help us gain insights into the serial killer's motives and signature methods. By studying the crime scenes and victim profiles, the Behavioral Analysis Unit aims to develop a more comprehensive understanding of the math problem killer's psychological makeup. I believe some of the conclusions put forth may be of value to your investigations going forward, and I would like to read them to you now. Quote, "The math problem killer exhibits a distinct set of psychological traits, combining sadism, manipulation, and a desire for control over both the victims and the authorities.
No frickin' way.
Key characteristics include 1. Sadistic tendencies. The subject derives pleasure from the suffering and potential harm inflicted on his victims. He revels in the psychological game. 2. Control and manipulation. The subject thrives on exerting control over the situation and manipulating the actions of law enforcement. 3. Superiority complex. The subject likely possesses an inflated ego and believes himself to be intellectually superior to others. And 4. Methodical planning. The subject's attention to detail and ability to anticipate law enforcement's actions suggest a meticulous nature and ability for strategic thinking." Okay everyone, I'm going to stop there. We are 5 weeks in, and we are in the big leagues. This guy is not an amateur. He is smart, he is ruthless, and he is prolific. And we need to catch him. Thank you. Now let's get hunting.
How many weeks again? Is it 11? Actually, I'm always...
Special Agent.
Because he's going to have to read this again to me anyways if I want to look at it, so... Because that's just how the game works. You can't skip the stupid cutscene for whatever reason. There's really 11 freaking people. God dang it, dude. Ugh. I really just want to skip to the end, but... already pretty deep. I'll be back. Hey guys, I'm gonna actually call this part the end of part 1 because, like, just to avoid copyright, because my video is over 6 hours. If it's over 6 hours, YouTube won't let me, like, remove the audio anymore, so yeah, just to avoid that, because that's been aggravating the crap out of me. I'm tired of failing out copyright ID claim forms and then people rejecting them anyways because they're pieces of crap, but yeah. But thanks for watching as always, guys. Also, I'm still waiting to hear back from the creator because I think the final puzzle's glitched. I'm not sure if it is, but it feels like it is because I checked everything multiple times unless I'm missing something small. But yeah, as soon as he gets back to me on that and I figure it out, then I'll upload the final part. But yeah, bye.